Let me know, ladies. You can hear me. No, I haven't changed anything. This is my usual setting. And now I hear myself echoing. And you said that you can hear me, but it sounds absolutely terrible. How is it now? Very bad sound indeed. I hate it when they make like there was a pop-up on the program that I am using, and it said there is some technical novelty, but it seems that the technical novelty is absolutely horrible. Much better now. Is it okay now? Now I don't hear. Can you tell me if it is okay now? Do you still hear me with echo? It is okay now, Kimberly says. Oh, I'm so glad. I was so afraid, ladies, for a minute. I thought that we will have to cancel today's No One Has to Be Alone because of these unpredictable and unexplainable things. What I did, that I switched off the microphone on my, switched off the audio on my computer, but yeah, super strange. I'm always doing it in the same way, tested it. Okay, if everything is fine, then we don't have to go into details anymore. So today we are beading Zuzi's Seraya earrings or bracelet, if you would like to. And this jewel, it comes from the Desert Rose Beadingschool Academy collection. The Desert Rose is inspired by the beautiful flower and beautiful rock formation from this era, and legends connected to the desert rose flowers. They talk about perseverance and talk about kindness and the magical abilities of desert roses if you approach them with kindness in your heart and with love towards your surroundings. So Zuzi says about Seraya, in deserts where the journey was harsh and water scarce, a serai represented life, refuge, and renewal. It was often built near oases with palm trees, gardens, and wells, transforming the barren into something nurturing. Whispering of desert nights and hidden sanctuaries, Seraya captures the mystery of a secret resting place in the sands. Soft blush tones echo the delicate bloom of the desert rose, while crystal accents shimmer like starlight over a quiet spring. Lovely ladies, if you would like to read the rest of the story of the Seraya earrings and also look into more jewels that you can create from the Desert Rose collection, then I have posted for you the link to find the article on the Beadingschool blog. And let's see. So the designer of today's earring, it's my colleague and friend Zuzi. And she's known for her intricate thread bosses and innovative ideas, but also for me, her jewels also always have a beautiful, gentle, soft touch. Whatever shapes she is working with, always her kindness and her gentle, caring, feminine soul shines through. And if you would like to see more from Zuzi's tutorials, then I have posted the link to her jewels from the designer zone, or you can also scan the QR code from the page. The tutorial download is already waiting for you, and I strongly recommend downloading it because besides the basic beading the basic motif that I'm going to show you today, it also includes how you can connect motifs to each other. Zuzi worked on it very thoroughly with great care on finding how to connect the motifs to each other on your wrist in a way that instead of simple connections only from maybe fire polished bead, you would have like an organic joint between the motifs, and also making sure that the bracelet bends nicely around the wrist. And as always, you can download the tutorial from no-one-has-to-bead-alone.com or from beadingskool.com/no-one-has-to-bead-alone/. Or you can also just simply go to beadingschool.com and find No One Has to Bead Alone in the main menu. As always, you have two options. You can either download the tutorial as a gift from me and Beading School for 3 days starting now, or you can also support the video and Beading School by checking out through the Bead shop. The tutorial will always stay there in the Bead shop, and the gift option is available for 3 days. So lovely ladies, while you are heading over to the page to download the PDF, then I would also like to check with you what you need today for the motif. So for one motif, you need one 6mm Preciosa Suwan rhinestone. These are the thin ones. They have the holes in a cross shape, and the holes can be crossed only in one direction. These are not the ones that have a short crossing and the long crossing, but they have a more rigid way of fusing. Marta says that the rectangular beads from Miyuki, they are perfect for links, and I agree with Marta. Besides that focal, you also need 4 pieces of ginkgo beads for each motif, 8 pieces for the rectangular Miyuki beads that Marta has just mentioned, 4 pieces of 3mm Preciosa bicone beads, 8 pieces of 3mm fire polished beads, 8 pieces of 2mm round pearls, a little bit of Miyuki size 15 seed beads in 2 colors, and a little bit of size 11 Miyuki delicas. And Lita says she discovered a typo. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention, dear Lita. Can you please send an email to info@beadingschool.com so we can look into it? Sorry, tomorrow, because I will not be able to remember, or I have to stop and find a pen and write it down, and I would rather stay focused here. So thank you so much, Lita, for doing that. So lovely ladies, while you are double checking the material that you have on your bead mat, then I would like to mention that the material that we are working with today, it comes from the Desert Rose Beading School Academy team box. And yes, and a few days ago, on Tuesday, to be more specific, we uploaded many of the components that came in your Desert Rose Beading School Academy box in the Beading School bead shop in silver color two in different silver shades. So if you would like to have the beautiful Neumann clasp, or the charm, or the spacer bar in silver tones, then they are waiting for you. Of course, also everything that you need for the Seraya motif, it is available in the Beadingschool bead shop, and we ship worldwide, no matter where you live in the world. This week, we have also uploaded so-called decorative chains to the bead shop. These are not for jewelry, but these are perfectly suitable to be used in decorations in your home. And the whole week, we are sharing ideas how to decorate your home with beads. Because let's admit, beads are a lot more for us than just tiny pieces of glass. For me, they are literally part of who I am, and they are tattooed on my body, and now they are also included in the decoration of my flat. But in the meantime, I would like to switch to my hand camera, and to have a little bit of time for that, I will show you the beautiful video about the Desert Rose box, and then afterwards I will be back with my bead mat. So you should be able to hear me again, and to see my bead mat, and to see the first motif that I have beaded. Please let me know if you can see the Seraya earring, and if you can hear me. Thank you so much, ladies, for letting me know. There is, by the way, at the moment 70 of us beading together from YouTube and from Facebook. 71 if we count me also, which we should, I think. And as you can see, I am making my motif into earrings, and I have included this beautiful ear stud that we started to use, wow, already I think 2 years ago nearly, during the winter tale with Heather, the winter tale team of the Beadingschool Academy, and I still use it in different colors. I find it one of the most beautiful ones. And Kathy and Sherry say, and Lutka, that they can hear me and see me. So let's start beading. This is the first step, and we will start by crossing one of the holes of the Preciosa Suban rhinestone. Then I pick up a size 15 seed bead, a 2 millimeter pearl, a ginkgo bead. Then for the top of the ginkgo bead, where I will turn around through the second hole, I pick up a size 15 seed bead in the second color, 3 pieces of Miyuki Delica beads, another size 15 in the second color, and then with these 5 beads on my needle, I bead back through the second hole of the ginkgo, I pick up another 2mm pearl and size 15 in the first color, and then I bead through the through the second open hole of the 6mm Preciosa Suwon rhinestone. So this is how it should look like. And now I will repeat this 3 more times, but I will stay with the first illustration so you can see the thread path better. So again, I pick up size 15, 2mm pearl, ginkgo, size 15 in second color. Wow, that looked like a propeller. Then 3 Miyuki Delicas and size 15 in second color. I bead through the second open hole of the ginkgo bead, and then I complete this step by picking up a 2mm pearl, a size 15 in the first color, and I bead through the other hole of the Preciosa Suwon rhinestone. So now I can't refer to the holes anymore like open and already used hole, but always, well, I'm exiting one hole and then crossing before picking up the new beads, and then I cross through the other one. And no beads belong to both groups. I always pick up the full combination. So I don't have double thread anywhere else, just in the 6mm Preciosa Suwon rhinestone. So again, I pick up size 15, 2mm pearl, ginkgo, size 15 in second color, 3 pieces of Miyuki Delica beads, size 15. I bead through the second open hole of the ginkgo. I pick up a 2mm pearl and the size 15 in the first color. I bead through the other hole of the Suwon rhinestone. So I already have 3 of the little wings, or I don't know how to call the arms. It will be like a little cross, and these are like arms on of the cross. And now I will pick up the last combination. So size 15 in first color, 2mm pearl, ginkgo, size 15 in second color, three pieces of Miyuki Delica beads, size 15 in second color. Then I bead back through the other hole of the ginkgo. I pick up a 2mm pearl and a size 15 in the first color, and I bead through the other hole of the Suwon rhinestone. So this is how it should look like after step 2. And I'm so incredibly happy that so many of us came together today. And let's see what's happening in step 3. In step 3, we are beading all around the motif in a way that we repeat the thread path through the arms, but not through the rhinestone itself. So I bead through everything that I picked up in one go. And then here from the size 15 seed bead, I'm going directly to the other arm instead of passing through the rhinestone itself. So this is the second arm of the little cross where I am repeating the thread path. And then the third arm. And lovely ladies, my usual question, I'm always curious, what kind of colors are you using today? Do you stick to the desert rose colors or have you created your own color combination? Let me know. And I apologize that today the name by name greeting was skipped, but the horrible technical issues at the beginning, they really made me, well, unfortunately having to focus on solving that issue. But I would love to greet everyone whom I still see on the screen: Chelsea, Yosin, Malia, Lutka, Katy, Sherry, Patricia, Lita, Tina, Marta, Christina, Judith, Tammy, Gail, Rita, Antoinette, Judy, Ellen, Linda, Jennifer, and so many other readers. And Lita says, I'm using the desert rose colors. I even made sure I had enough of the rectangles for the bracelet. Dear Lita, I'm so happy to hear that you are going to bead the whole bracelet. Like, Zuzi could have stayed only with the earrings. We would have already had a beautiful jewel for her, but she wanted to make sure that you have a super nice way of connecting the motifs. So she went the extra mile and she worked out how to connect the motifs to each other. And Anita says, my colors are box colors, but my pearls are the blue ones from the last team. So Anita is creating a connection between the two teams. I really like that when teams are blending one into each other, dear Anita. I'm curious how it will look like. Marta says she will need more rectangles. And Jen says she's watching today only. Dear Jen, some of her beaders indeed choose this strategy, that first they watch the whole video, they engage in the chat, which I absolutely love, when we have busy chatting going on, and then they bead the motif later. And now I have connected all the four arms to each other, and then I repeat the thread path through the first group again, and I stop after the ginkgo bead. So I do not repeat the full thread path. I stop after the ginkgo, the second hole of the ginkgo, and I do not bead through the little pearl and the seed bead. Yosin is also using box colors because she loves them a lot. And Michaela is using capri blue and white. Wonderful. Well, I will add now some bicon beads in box colors in my case and seed beads in my second color. So I will be connecting to each other the ginkgo beads with this. So exiting the ginkgo, I pick up size 15, bicon size 15, and then I bead through the first hole of the next ginkgo. I bead through the seed beads on top of the ginkgo bead. Then I bead through the second hole of the ginkgo. And I repeat the same 3 more times. And Molly says, in the meantime, I'm so happy for you, dear Molly. Molly says, I think I'm able to make the bracelet. I'm so in full colors at the moment, so many leaves on the ground. And they are beautiful, dear Molly. Indeed, bringing lots of inspiration. So there is a park next to where I live, and every afternoon after lunch, I take a little walk. There is a cute little cafe just next to the park. And since I work from home and since I live on my own, well, I have a flatmate, but she also works a lot and has her own life. So I have this goal that every afternoon I go out, I sit down at the cafe, I chat with the baristas. They are super cute. One of them is my neighbor, actually, living 2 doors from me. And very often I also take a walk in the park after having a coffee, or sometimes grabbing the coffee and then walking around with my coffee. And now the leaves are all like red and yellow, and they are absolutely beautiful. Kimberly says that she does the same as Jan, that she's watching first, and she says it is relaxing to just watch someone bead, then it helps flow better when I bead. This motif has so much potential. I love bracelets and will attempt that. Thank you, dear Zuzi. And thank you so much, dear Kimberly, for attempting the bracelet, because indeed we love, love, love preparing these tutorials for you. But the best part of it is when we can see how the jewels come alive on your bead mats. Now I have added the icons all around, and I will repeat a tiny part of the thread path through the first new icon group. Through the ginkgo, and through the seed beads sitting on top of the ginkgo beads. So this is how it should look like after the 4th step. And Sherry says, I'm watching today, but I have collected all the beads in my little kit. I think I want to make a bracelet too. And Anna says, I love the cheery colors Susie chose for the diagrams. Even the diagrams are beautiful, aren't they, dear Anna? So now I'm finally going to use the rectangles. I love it, by the way, that there are 2 layers of the rectangles, making the motif substantial. So I will connect now the groups of seed beads sitting on top of the ginkgos by adding groups of delica, rectangle, and delica in between. So I skip everything in between, and then I just bead through the seed beads sitting on top of the next ginkgo. And Jen says, that sounds so lovely, Erika. Thank you, dear Jen. Like, I still can't believe what a beautiful place and neighborhood I live in. It is a new neighborhood, and but it is maybe like 5 minutes until I cross to a part where there is the park and there is a lake where I go swimming in the summer, and there is this cute cafe. But also thanks to it like being a new neighborhood where I live, so it's not like the old Amsterdam houses, but like a high building with 7 floors. I'm on the 6th. Then actually it's very airy, and I love it that I have a big window and I can look out and see and have space in front of me, and it just fills me with this sense of possibilities waiting for me out there instead of being crammed into a small, even if beautiful place. So now I added the beads, and I will repeat the beginning of the thread path until exiting the first new group. So I crossed through the whole group that I have added, delica, rectangle, delica. And Ariana says, I wanted to make a bracelet from the beginning and even put that extra rectangle for the connection in my mini kit already. Now I have to look for the extra bicon in the connection. And Judith says, I watch the videos first. This way I can interpret the written tutorial using the info and helpful hints from the video. I'm grateful for your generosity, Erika, in making the videos and coffee times. Thank you, dear ladies. And you know, each and every one of us have a different preferred way of learning. And this way, as you can see the written, you can see the diagrams, you can see the written instructions, you can see me beading, and you can hear me talking about it. You have the full experience, and no matter what your preferred way of learning beading is, you will receive exactly that. And now I will add some more beads to make the motif bigger. So exiting the group of delica, rectangle, delica, I pick up a size 15 in the second color, a 3mm fire polished bead. By the way, I'm in love with this Celsian effect fire polished beads. Have you picked up any other colors of the Celsians, by the way? We have bead bundles for 3 and 4mm Celsian fire polished beads in the Beadingschool bead shop, and I love the effect. So anyway, the new group I pick up is size 15, 3mm fire polished bead, delica. And then I attach the delica with a single square stitch to the middle delica above the ginkgo. And once I have crossed the new delica one more time, I pick up a fire polished bead and a size 15 in the second color. And then I bead through delica, rectangle, delica. I do the same again now. So I pick up size 15, fire polished bead, delica. I attach the delica bead to the middle delica bead with a single square stitch. And then I pick up fire polished bead, size 15, and I do the same 2 more times. And Anita says, I had to have the blue and green ones, the Celsian beads. And Hannah says, I was outside with my dog and I had you in my ear. When you were talking about the autumn color, I just had them all around me. Oh, wow, Hannah, what an experience. And thanks for listening, even during your walk. Wow. So good to know that you were here with us, even when being outside. And Kim says, I'm actually very intrigued with the V-shaped pendant option given in the tutorial, a complete set in one tutorial. And I think these motifs are actually so easy to create variability and to connect them in different ways that indeed you can create a full set. I was actually thinking about maybe a longer pendant, an unusual one, just two above each other, or even a big earring would be possible. Lita loves the layering. Iveta joined us. And Kimberly, by the way, I always wanted to ask, do you prefer Kim or Kimberly? I would love to call you by your preferred variation. What feels better, Kim or Kimberly? Rachel is complimenting Zuzi on the beautiful thread path. And Iveta says, so lovely, I love this. Iveta, may I ask, by the way, which part of Slovakia do you live in? Because, well, Iveta is one of the lucky ladies being super close to the beading school treasury. She actually lives in the same country where the beading school treasury is located, where I grew up. I lived in Slovakia until I was 25? Yes, I think 25. Then I stayed a bit longer because I just lived across the border. But anyway, I'm curious if Iveta lives close to the treasury. She's one of our newest beaders, by the way. And I have added all the new beads. And to finish this thread, this step, I bead through size 15 fire polished, Delica fire polished, size 15. So basically my aim is to finish by exiting the first new group that I have added. And Kimberly says, it does not matter. I go by Kimberly online and official writing, but my family calls me Kim. Except when my husband is serious, he calls me Kimberly. Of course, we always have those names, right? So I will call you Kim if that's your family version and it feels good from me. And then next step. Now I pick up a Delica and a rectangle. And I will attach the rectangle. This is basically a square stitch, but a long square stitch. It's a rectangle stitch, let's say, because of the length of the Miyuki bead. So I attached rectangle to rectangle. And then once I'm exiting the new rectangle again, then I pick up a Miyuki Delica. I bead through size 15 and fire polished bead. And then in between the two fire polished beads, I add 3 pieces of the second color of the Miyuki round 15s. I bead through fire polished and round 15 again. And then I pick up Delica and rectangle. I attach the rectangle to rectangle by beading through the old rectangle and then beading through the new rectangle. And I continue with this all around. And since we have these continuations, then these repetitions, and then I'm happy to answer the occasional questions. Sherry says, did you have a lot of paperwork to do when you moved to a new country after leaving Slovakia? Did you have to wait a certain amount of months to find work? So, dear Sherry, that's a very interesting question. And since all the countries basically, except Romania, where I used to study for a little while, we are in the European Union, then it was very easy to move from one country to another. So I did not have to find a certain amount of months to find work because I have always been since finishing university. I have always been self-employed, so I just had to go to the Chamber of Commerce and register a Dutch company when I moved here. But otherwise, it was super easy. Thanks to the European Union. And I am so incredibly grateful for its existence. Healthcare is easily arranged. Bank accounts, phone numbers. Like this is, I have to say, an unearned privilege, and I'm sad that it creates so much difference between two human beings, that if you were lucky or not when you were born in a certain country, because yes, there are countries where you are luckier because of the geography, the history, the politics, the economics, and indeed, you can also be born in countries where life is a lot harder, or you might even have to leave your country because of the situation. So I'm grateful that I was born in the European Union. Well, I was born. We were not part of the European Union back then, but we have become, and I'm very grateful for that. And Iveta says, in the meantime, that she lives 50 kilometers only from the treasury in Sturovo. Oh yes, indeed, we talked about it, dear Iveta. I'm sorry that I forgot. And in the meantime, also, Angelina has joined us, Cindy. And Kim is asking Ariane, if you make the bracelet, will you post a picture of it? I want to see it completed. I would love to see that too. So, and now I have added all the beads from step 7. And this is how it looks like. And in step 8, sorry, I will just repeat the thread path and just skip always the middle bead from the group of 3 size 15s that I have added. Oh, and Kim says, my son and I were talking the other day about how we would love to live in the UK. Oh, it's such a beautiful country, Kim. London and also the countryside. I don't wonder that you would love to live there. By the way, ladies, are there any countries, is there a specific countries where you would love to live? Like, no matter if you have been there before or not, but is there a country which is calling your name for some reason? When I was a kid, then I actually had two. One of them was Spain, and the other one was Ireland. I loved, somehow I felt so incredibly attracted to both of these cultures. Yeah, we were listening with my sister all the time to 𝐂𝐋𝐈𝐂𝐊 and Kelly family and Michael Flatley. So probably that's why Ireland became such a special place for me back then, already 30 years ago. But it was only this year that I have discovered how incredibly beautiful it is in reality. And Hannah says, how many ginkgos are in a bracelet middle sizes? I'm thinking if I have enough. So one motif is, I think, 2.5 centimeters, dear Hannah, and then a little bit for the connection. So for a middle-sized bracelet, I think you would need like 6-7 motifs. So if we count 7 motifs, that's 28 ginkgos. I know that Zuzi created a bracelet using 5 motifs, but she said that that bracelet, that's enough only for like very, very small wrists. Yeah, Anita says she was also a Kelly family fan. That's so funny. Oh. And Cindy, and we have a new beader here, Christina Molnar. Hi, Christina. And Cindy says, I would love to go to Ireland and Germany, and as well Switzerland. And Sherry says, for me, England, I love it there. I have visited 3 times. Not a lot, but enough to know I love it. And Sherry says, Barcelona and Rome, I'm in love with both. And Corinne says, the blame for the place of birth is on the stork. Indeed. And Rachel says, I consider myself lucky to be in Canada and I truly love it. So beautiful, Rachel. And you live in such an amazing country, the mountains, the nature. It's amazing there. I saw only a tiny fraction, but I was blown away by the beauty. And Jen says, I'm Canadian and I love it here. Scotland has always spoken to me. Scotland is also awesome. And Kim says, Ireland, France, and England. All beautiful countries, and the culture is just so inspiring. But anyway, ladies, I have beaded my little motif, and I hope you could follow through with me. And please let me know if you have any questions. On Tuesday, I am looking forward to meeting you with something very special. So I told you when we were celebrating the Academy anniversary, the Beadingschool Academy anniversary, that in the future, we want to create even more possibilities for you ladies to shine and showcase your talents. Like, I'm not just saying that the Beadingschool Academy skyrockets your beading skills, but I indeed see the proof of it in the jewels you make, in the tutorials you write. Some of you are even publishing in magazines, and we would love to create. We have decided to create more opportunities for you to shine. So next week already, I will introduce something very special coming from one of your fellow beaders. So make sure to join me on Tuesday, because it will be literally a dream come true for someone. And Arina says, I always wanted to live in Sweden, and I spent all my holidays as a kid there. I love the forests more than a big city. They say even seeing the color green calms us down, so I don't wonder, dear Ariane. And Cindy says, I would love to go to England and back to Malta, as we have family in both places. for Molly Tokyo and New Zealand. And Anita says, me and my cousin went to a concert. We used to believe that I should marry Paddy and my cousin Angelo. Anita, that's so funny. My sister was, we had the same with my sister. My sister was Paddy, had her eyes on Paddy, and I had my eyes on Angelo as I was the younger. So funny. And Katie says, I would move to Italy because of the food. But I will stay forever in Belgium. Not bad at all. Oh, dear Katie, Belgium is so, so, so incredible. Last year, and at the end of September, I was on a little weekend trip in Bruges and in Ghent. And those 2 days will stay in my memory forever and ever. It was beautiful. You are so lucky to live in such a beautiful country. Adriana is asking if she can substitute the beads. Dear Adriana, if you would like to substitute beads, then it is something that you will need to work out on your own. Just make sure that the length is the same as the rectangles, because, you know, we have tested this motif exactly with these beads, and I can't say that it will work with this or that because I haven't tried it, and I want to give you only information that I stand for. So I stand for the rectangles in this case, but I'm pretty sure that you can substitute it with something. Oh, and Hannah says, I have never wanted to live anywhere else than here in Iceland, but Italy is on my bucket list to visit. Italy is so beautiful. The culture, the people, the food, the ice cream. Jenny finds this beautiful and is thanking Zuzi. Judith says, I want to go to Poland. My mother's parents came to the US in the early 900s. I spent so much time with my grandparents as a child and will never forget what I learned from them. Language, etc. You speak Polish, Judith? Na zdrowie. Dziękuję. Anita is laughing about my Irish crush. And Jessica says, I always wanted to go to the Netherlands. I love tulips and the men's football team and windmills. Oh, Jessica, I hope it will work out one day. In the spring, when the tulips are blooming, it's incredibly beautiful and colorful. Oh, and thank you, dear Katie. I had a waffle in Bruges with salty caramel. Oh, it was so nice. Oh, and Corinne has an idea for Adriana. 3 pieces of 3mm bugle beads. Kati is also recommending bugles. And Ingrid is saying hi from Italy, making us all jealous. And she says Milan is sunny today. And Molly says, I absolutely love this design. More of these, please. Support Zuzi. Oh, and Malia says, I wish I just lived in Europe. Seems like you can travel everywhere. Maybe one day when my kids are grown, I will travel. I really hope you can get across the ocean, dear Malia. And I think indeed we are lucky with the European Union here. Also in the United States, you ladies have so many incredibly beautiful places, and it always keeps me flabbergasted that within one country you have such, of course it's huge, but you have such diversity and so many national parks and interesting cities, and the museums. I have to go to New York one day. I really hope that I can go to New York one day and visit the Modern Art Museum. And Hannah indeed says, I learned art history, so I will defo visit Italy. Corinne says, I'm addicted to Milano. Somehow I did not feel entirely the soul of Milan. It felt like it's very posh. Maybe I did not have enough time there. I felt Florence, like Florence was totally talking to me. Yosin says she has been in New Zealand and it blew her mind. So beautiful. Everyone says that New Zealand is amazing. And Christine says about the States, it is so fast. So lovely ladies, I would also like to mention that during the weekend we have a storytelling night for our lovely Beading School Academy students. So every 2 months, corresponding with each and every team of the Beading School Academy, we have a storytelling night with lovely professional storyteller 𝐂𝐋𝐈𝐂𝐊. By the way, did you know, have you caught it on her own personal page, that only a few years ago, already when she was your storyteller too, she was lucky to be the personal storyteller of Jane Goodall, who passed away very recently? Because Jane Goodall traveled to Hungary and she stayed in an amazing little guest house, who ordered personal good night tales from 𝐂𝐋𝐈𝐂𝐊 for Jane Goodall, which they left every evening that she spent there on Jane's pillow. So enjoy 𝐂𝐋𝐈𝐂𝐊's company on Saturday, lovely ladies. Anita says, I so want to go back to San Francisco, by the way. Belinda says, I just want to see the wild places. Jungles, rainforests, dear Belinda. Corinne can't wait to go to Milan again. And Sherry says, I have visited many states in the United States. I'm from Texas, but I have always wanted to see New York. That's my lifetime dream, and hopefully one day I will be able to visit New York City. And by the way, like, it's so funny that another country where I have never lived, but spent some substantial time, it's Mexico. I spent there 2 months last year and 1 month 2 years ago, and I really hope to go back. Like, this year is dedicated to making much needed changes in my life, and my dream is that once this transitional period is over and I get a little rest from all the changes, then afterwards I want to go back to Mexico and again spend time there. So, yeah, you are cheering for 𝐂𝐋𝐈𝐂𝐊 in the meantime. And lovely ladies, just don't forget, we still have some desert rose bundles waiting for you. And please make sure to share your creations and work in progress pieces in the Beading School Club. I am looking forward very much to see your earrings, bracelets, maybe Kim's V-shaped necklace. And I would like to thank you for trusting us with your sparkly bead orders that you have placed during these past days. And also thank you so much for the inspiration and the enthusiasm in the Beading School Club. I cherish every time when I sign in the morning to see your posts and comments. Wishing you a lovely rest of the day, and see you Tuesday with a dream coming true. Bye bye, ladies.